Okay. The first part of our lesson, we made it clear that we would soon teach the truth about Africa, concerning Africa. Why? There's a lot of groups out there erroneously teaching that if you're not from West Africa, you are from the seeds of Ham. So we have to straighten this out according to the Bible and according to geography and maps. Okay? Therefore, going forward, we hope that things can be corrected with brothers out there calling every person from Africa Hamites. They don't know when they do that, they fall into the Euro stereotype by stereotyping Hamites as black people when the father of Hamites were black. Adam was black. Eve was black. Okay? Noah was black. Someone said they don't look like we do. Okay. Oh, because they don't look like we do. All right. Okay. Brothers and sisters, we must get over this ignorant mindset. Let me make this clear. Your society dictates, and your economy dictates your outward appearance. If you're living in a civilized society in which you can care for yourself, of course, you're going to look more well kept, opposed to other people who are suffering. So you just can't look at something on face value and say, well, they don't look like us. Of course they don't look like us. They don't eat as well as we eat. They don't have running water like we have. They don't have the necessities we have. So of course they're going to look different because they're suffering. But when you look at those Africans that come into the Western world and their children that have children over in the Western world, and they go into our schools, those children look just like us because they're living in a different culture, in a different society. So you can't look at someone because they're looking real dark and their eyes are bloodshot or their eyes are yellow. Of course they're going to be looking deteriorated and hurt. They're being hurt by the Western world. Of course they're going to look different. But if they're in a place where they can eat good food and drink good water and take care of themselves and take care of their skin, of course there will be a different outward appearance. So we can't deal with that ignorance, the ignorance of saying, well, they don't look like us. We fall into the stereotypes of because someone don't look exactly like us, or light skin, or lighter than certain people, or darker than other people, that they cannot be us. We fall into, don't forget, that's part of the Willie Lynch mentality or psychology. They want you out there, well, they're darker than us, so they can't be us. That's total ignorance. So what we're going to do is we're going to show something outside of ignorance. We're going to bring forth truth. Okay? And this truth, you'll be able to study yourself. And then you'll be able to go back to the other Israelites who are ignorantly calling, and I say ignorantly because they really don't know. They haven't been to Africa. Okay? So they really don't know. So that anyone outside of themselves must be Hamites because they smell a certain type of way, or of course, their hygiene is not going to be what the Western world hygiene is. It's the Western world that's holding them down, making it where they can't get clean water, that they must bathe in sewage. So of course they're not going to smell like us. Total ignorance. Those brothers and sisters are suffering worse than us. And we perpetuate Jacob's trouble by turning our back on them and just saying, well, it doesn't matter, they're Hamites anyway. It's total ignorance. So, let's bring some information on this, okay? This is what I've taken my time to do. On your screen, I need you to read Ham out of the Bible dictionary. Read that.
The Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
This is Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Okay, Zondervan so happened, if it mattered, so happened to be a Caucasian. He's a Jewish person. Okay, this was not a black person who came up with these particular words we're about to read. Okay? But I'm going to show you the trickery in his words. Read it.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood.
Read.
And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races.
He became the what?
The progenitor of the dark races.
See, that's the trickery right there. As if Ham's father wasn't dark. As if Ham's grandfather wasn't dark. He became the progenitor, which means father, of the dark races. See, that's what they teach in European theology. As if something happened. As if there was a change. He became the progenitor of the dark races. As if they were not dark before Ham. That's the trickery. Well, if Ham was dark, must not his father? Where would he get his darkness from? His father must have been dark too. Common sense. Why? There's no such thing as Caucasoid or Caucasian people having black children. That's just common sense. So he became the progenitor of the dark races, and he made a distinction. Read.
He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. Now here's a problem. Shem is a dark race. Japheth is a dark race. So you have to look at the trickery in their words there. So he must be saying became the progenitor of the darker races, but not the Negroes. So that's a distinction. They're separating the Negroes who were brought over in cargo slave ships from the Hamitic Africans. Now, you have most Israelites who look at this and say, well, the dark races outside of the Negroes must be Ham. They have fell into the stereotype. Yes, we know we're not Hamites. But we're not going to be separated from the rest of our brothers and sisters over in Africa by this trickery placed in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Because first and foremost, Ham's sons were who? Read.
The youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood.
Read.
And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood.
Go ahead.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Of the dark races.
Not the Negroes.
Not, but who?
But the Egyptians.
Egyptians.
Ethiopians. Libyans. And Canaanites.
And Canaanites. These are 4 families of Ham. So the question is, where was these 4 families located? That's the question. Okay, we're going to just try to do a little few things that we do in the academy, just to give you an understanding of what we bring forth during the academy. On your screen, there's a map. On that map is the 4 families of the earth after the flood, if you can see. In your orange, you see the families of Japheth. Yellow, the sons of Ham. Okay, you see that? And green, the descendants of Shem. Now, when you look in your yellow areas, this is all what? Look at the yellow. These are all the sons of Ham. Look at them. And as you can see, these people predominantly lived in northern Africa. amongst their brother. And their brother is not too far away. Look. So these people were not too far away. A matter of fact, in some instances, Ham was linked in with Shem and Japheth in certain areas. If you look at this, this is where the original Hamites went. And not one of these people, as we see right here on this map here, originally they were not in West Africa, they was not in South Africa, they were not in East Africa, they were predominantly in North Africa. Some people say, and they say without any research, that Canaanites are South Africans. That is incorrect. There's no history in the Bible, the Josephus, or any history we've run into to show the Canaanites going into South Africa. That is a untruth. Let's put it that way. It's not true. It's unfounded. Here are the areas in yellow, as you can see, which is predominantly North Africa. Now, right after that, there's a map of Africa. I want you to look at that. And on your map of Africa, as you can see, look at this clearly. This is from Google Maps. At your top, north, is where all the sons of Ham were. The top of Sudan, up here in these areas there. Down in parts of Ethiopia. That's where the original sons of Ham was. Now look at all that landmass under the top or north of Africa, downward. Look at all that, even Madagascar to your right. Look at all that which is part of Africa. You're going to find everything south of Africa is where the children of Israel ran into after 70 AD and migrated into this big landmass you see south of Africa. If you look at your top right on your screen, you'll see to your top right, you'll see right there, you got the Red Sea right there, you got Saudi Arabia up there to your top right. Africa bordered all those areas. When you go a little north, Egypt is up there also. These are the families of Ham in North Africa. Every other area down here was called the wilderness, in which the children of Israel, when you look south of this, the children of Israel fled into these particular areas, and South Africa is at the very tip or bottom. These are where the children of Israel ran into. See, most brothers and sisters, the only thing they would need to do before they would ignorantly make statements is to get a map and look at the map and look at history books. There's a book we have called Hebrewism in West Africa. Now, even though it says Hebrewism in West Africa, it also shows lands outside of West Africa in which the children of Israel settled. Okay? Also, there's parts of North Africa that Israel settled in, and named those particular land masses, like Kenya. You can read that in the book From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. So again, let's stop using reverse racism and ignorantly calling brothers Ham just because they're not from the lands you are in. Okay? They have as much right to the Israelite heritage as the children of Israel who went into captivity in America and other parts of the earth. They are suffering right now, and the nations are targeting them not because they're Ham. Okay? They're being targeted because they are the children of Israel. That's why they're being targeted. And they're going through Jacob's trouble. And the Most High will save them. The eugenics program, they have overcome the AIDS lie. They wasn't aiming that towards Hamites. Okay? They have overcome all the destruction. Right now, they're beheading our people in Libya, which is North Africa. Yes, because our people had to go into Libya to work. Why? They cannot reap the benefits in their own homeland. So they must leave their land to get money. And Libya was the jewel of Africa. It was the place in which Africans could go and actually have some similitude of life outside of trying to get into America. But now that's been taken away. And you can't downplay that by saying, well, they're just Hamites. Because guess what? Soon what's happening to them will be happening to you, to do-good Negroes all over the earth, including America. So don't think you're going to escape anything because you're not going through it now. Okay? Jacob's trouble will hit us all. Okay? And a lot of those brothers over there that are used to suffering is going to show us how to get through suffering. Because we're too comfortable to know what to do when there's no supermarkets, when there's nothing, when someone is not driving your food up to you and serving you like, like a little kid, like a child, eating out of your master's hands. Soon your trucks are not going to be driving up to your stores to give you food. And it's the poor of the people that's going to show each of us how to survive. Therefore, let's stop ignorantly calling brothers Hamites just to dismiss them and feed into the stereotype and hate our own people. It's ignorant and it has nothing to do with truth. Get a map, and the map will give you the understanding on what you should be teaching correctly. Okay? So every location outside of North Africa belonged to the children of Israel. Period. Why? Because that land under North Africa was not allotted to Ham, Shem, or Japheth. I gave you the map. You've seen it with your own eyes. Now, if you believe that Canaanites went from the land of Israel, which is North Africa, attached to Africa up north, and went all the way South Africa to the bottom of Africa without any proof, something is seriously wrong with your vocation. Okay? And someone says, so how do you decipher the difference between the two? Well, if you ever go into Africa, you'll know that most of the Hamitic races have straight hair. They have more stringy hair, close to Arab hair. Yeah, they're dark like Nubians, similar to Haile Selassie, who's an Ethiopian. Okay? They don't have the kinky hair. They have this, they dark-skinned, but even the Egyptians, the Nubians, I've met them. They're dark-skinned, but they have the straight hair. So usually that's one way you can decipher it to some degree. But still, there have been so much race mixing in those areas, you can't even go through that. You can't even use that to decipher to some degree. But that's one thing we know for sure, that the Hamitic races of Ham, like the Ethiopians and all that, they didn't have the coarse hair like the tribes of Judah and Levi. Okay? So all of South Africa, all of South Africa is the children of Israel, every last one of them. All of them. There's no Hamites in South Africa. Okay? And again, we shouldn't strive in genealogy, but I'm just bringing forth some understanding. That's true. You still can't go by the hair, because there's Israelites with straight hair. So we can't get caught up into that either. No, there's no straight hair from Edomites that corresponds with Hamitic races. I mean, no. Because Edomites aren't the only people with straight hair. You got Japheth that got straight hair. So to say, and you have Israel. Look at the North American Indians. Okay? You have to realize that Jacob had different wives from different areas. So their children took on some attributes of their mother. So you really can't get in that either. So we can't strive in genealogies, but what I was trying to pinpoint and trying to really focus on is how some Israelites are focusing on Africans and looking at them and saying that they are Hamites and dismissing them and laughing at their plight and laughing at what's going on against them. And that's not right. So I wanted to straighten that out. You can't look at somebody and say, well, they're Ham. That's absolutely wrong. With no historical proof or biblical proof. That is wrong. Okay? So I'm glad we were able to straighten that out. Okay?